Okay, welcome to the pre-recorded lectures. So we're starting chapter 18, which is all about viruses and prokaryotes. So we spent a little bit of time about prokaryotes, but we haven't really covered viruses yet other than those experiments we talked about a couple of chapters back. So it's a really fun virus, really relevant topic to talk about. So let's get started. So first thing is we're going to talk about is this concept of a pathogen. So a pathogen sounds like a really mean word, scary pathogen, pathogen, right? That's because it is, right? When say something is a pathogen, it's something, an organism or a particle that can cause an infectious disease. So that's when you get a disease from something infecting you, not like a diabetes, not like a cancer. An infectious disease is when one thing infects your body and causes some kind of disease. First one we're talking about is a virus, right? So viruses are pretty popular right now with the coronavirus. That is why we are doing this instead of in school. So that might be good, that might be bad, but it's a kind of virus. And viruses aren't really classified as living things, which is interesting because they exhibit lots of traits that living things do. They have DNA, they have protein. In fact, that's basically what a virus is at the end of the day, some kind of genetic material surrounded by a kind of protein coat. But as many qualities that it has that it shares with living things, it has just as many where they don't. Like viruses can't reproduce on their own. It's a big one for living things. Being able to procreate, to replicate yourself is a big proponent of yeah, that thing is alive. Viruses can't do that. They have to pretty much steal that from other organisms. So they're not classified at all in the Linnaean system. They are grouped together. We do name them, everything like that, but they're kind of alive, but not kind of alive at the same time. Next thing we're going to talk about is a viroid. So it sounds a lot like a virus, and it is a little bit like a virus. With the exception that it is just a single-stranded RNA. It's got no protein coat, and it goes and infects plants either through their seeds or through their pollen. All right, so that's all you need to know about that one. Second thing is a prion. So prions are kind of like the opposite of a viroid. So viroids have genetic material with no protein. Prions have protein but no genetic material. So they are infectious particles that go and interrupt the folding shapes of other proteins. And as you should know, the shape is directly related to the function of a protein. If the protein isn't shaped properly, it's not going to work, right? It's like having a hammer with like a little tiny face on it, right? It's going to be really hard to hammer in nails if the face is so tiny that it can't really do it, right? So here is a common comparison of various viruses to E. coli and human red blood cell. So really important that you guys understand that viruses are much smaller than cells. Why is that important? Because I don't want you to get confused later on when I ask you about what happens in an infection. These viruses right here go into these bigger cells, whether they're prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells over there. Right? They're much smaller. Why do they need to be much smaller? Because they're going to invade these bigger cells and use them to recreate themselves. If the viruses were bigger than the cells they were infecting, that wouldn't work in reality, right? So just know that viruses are smaller than prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Viruses are not cells themselves, that's why they are smaller. So, in review, tell me which one has protein coat and genetic material. Which one is that? Tell me the thing that is protein but no genetic material. Tell me the thing that is genetic material without protein, and what is a thing that causes an infectious disease. If you have any questions, you can email me, or you should be able to contact me on the Google Classroom form thing. So have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Come back for section 2. All right, thanks.